Welcome back to the ARCA Menards Series preview show. I'm Casey Campbell, and that's ARCA Menards Series PR Director Charlie Kroll. Hello.
Casey, how's it going?
Doing well. Busy weekend for the ARCA Menards Series. Obviously,
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
I don't remember much of it.
That's because you were probably traveling all that time.
I was doing a lot of driving.
Yeah, a lot of miles on the van. So it's
yeah.
So yeah, 3 great races. Of course, at Michigan, at Irwindale for the West Series, and then at Springfield on the dirt. But the most recent, you guys had a really good weekend. There were some things that happened, but throughout all of the races, but overall, pretty good weekend.
Thought so. I'm always a big fan of having cars going around in circles at a high rate of speed, and I thought our drivers did a pretty nice job of it for the most part this weekend, so no complaints out of me.
Yeah, so of course obviously there are 2 big things I want to discuss from that weekend, with
the pizza that they had in the media center on Friday. That was good.
That was good. Cottage Inn does have good.
Yeah, Cottage Inn's a good call, and how all of the soda cans in the pop machine were turned so the label was out. You noticed that too, right? Those were the 2 big things you wanted to talk about.
No, the 2 big things I wanted to talk about was the big obviously you got Ty Gibbs and Corey. Of course, Ty Gibbs, Corey Heim, the winners this weekend. Of course, we had a little bit of we had the 15 and 46 had some fun this weekend in the Michigan race.
Did they?
They did.
I don't think they would call it fun.
Well, I don't think so. If you were down there, it was not. But
they might not have called it fun.
No, they did.
Yeah, they definitely had a little coming together on lap 1, and then again a few laps later. Unfortunately, Tim Richmond found himself involved in that mess, and I'm not spilling any news here. He reported this on social media. He had a couple of fractures in his leg. Nothing major. Broken bone's a broken bone, but he's going to be okay. But yeah, that was a real shame. Tim and that group have had a pretty solid season to this point. The performance of that car has improved dramatically, and he and his dad and his family are here just to to spend time together and do something that they want to do. And they've made some tremendous strides in acquiring equipment and in learning how to do this. And they're exactly the type of people we want to have here in the ARCA Menards Series. So to see them get involved in the squabble of another couple of drivers, it's a little it's a little disappointing to see that happen. But as far as the incident with the 46 and the 15, Casey, it's something that we're taking a look at. I don't know what, if anything, we will do. It's when one of the drivers involved says it was an accident, you kind of have to take them on their word for it. We can't, what are we going to do? We can't jump in their brain,
right,
to determine whether or not they're telling the truth. So we kind of have to take them on their word for it. But we are our competition guys are taking a look at that. I don't have any updates to share with you on what, if anything, would be done. But yeah, sometimes these things happen, Casey. It's an unfortunate part of the deal and an unfortunate part of the sport. But all that said, there was a lot going on. That Moffitt's a great guy. Yeah. I like that. He comes from a great family. You're never going to get me to say anything bad about him. I'm not going to say anything bad about Drew Dollar. Drew's a great guy. Yeah. He comes from a great family.
Yep.
So, every now and then in sports of all kinds, doesn't matter if it's golf or water polo or football or auto racing, you're going to have 2 guys who are really, really good guys and really fun to be around that just have a bad day together. And I think that's what happened at Michigan on Friday. 2 really good guys had a bad day together, and it kind of boiled over a little bit. And we'll let them calm down, and we'll move on to the next one.
Yeah, that kind of stemmed into some other issues we won't get into, but ultimately enough, those issues were also dealt with as well. And those who know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. What we're not going
If
to
you
talk.
know, you know.
If you
Right.
know, you know.
Well, we're not going to talk about those things because,
There is one more thing I do want to mention, though.
sure,
Not about that one, but
sure, what you got?
the ARCA West race, Dean Thompson, of course, tested positive for COVID-19. I had to unfortunately miss the race at Irwindale. That was actually, if I'm not mistaken, Charlie, that's the first positive test for an ARCA driver since the pandemic began. If that, correct me if
That
I'm
sounds right to me, Casey.
okay.
I can't remember anybody who's had to sit out as a result of that.
I don't know if
So
crew members had to sit out or anything like that.
it's possible. We wouldn't have shared that necessarily, but yeah, I believe that's the first time an ARCA sanctioned driver has had to sit out. Chase Purdy had to sit out at Watkins Glen. Chase, full-time truck series driver, but he was going to run the ARCA race. But
Yeah,
certainly Dean is the first ARCA only driver I think would have had to have missed an event due to a COVID protocol. But a shame because he had been on the pole there the previous race and could have, should have, would have maybe won that one. And I know he had a lot of high hopes coming into that event on Saturday night. But he'll put his time in quarantine and come back at him here at Portland in a couple of weeks.
Okay, so to go off that, explain what what similar protocols that the series has taken to, because I know NASCAR as well as you guys have announced some protocols regarding masks and all that stuff. So what kind of steps are you guys taking to keep the driver?
I got to tell you, Casey, I have no idea what those protocols are. If and when I ever would have had to have dealt with it myself, I would have looked it up. I believe you have to have 2 negative tests over the span of 3 days if you're vaccinated, 2 negative tests in the span of 7 days if you're not vaccinated.
Sounds
I
about
believe that's what it is.
I
But
think that is
I
what
honestly,
it is, because
I don't know.
that is, yeah, I think you're right on that because we just had that with Corey LaJoy. That's why he couldn't race at Michigan this weekend. So I think that is actually the correct way.
Get vaccinated and you won't have to sit out so long. That's my theory.
Yeah, that's it's pretty good. And with today's news, it's with the FDA news, it's going to be pretty.
No excuses.
Yep.
All right, enough of that. Let's talk race cars.
Let's talk race cars. And you
We've
guys
got a big race coming up this weekend, don't we, Casey?
we got a big race coming up this weekend. Of course, you guys are going to do. It's always fun when you guys get to do something that you haven't done in a while. This weekend, ARCA gets to do something they haven't done in a while.
14 years.
And that is go to the Milwaukee Mile for the first time since 2007. And of course that's when that was announced, and I had heard some reports from other journalists that this was going to happen. I couldn't believe it because honestly, a lot of people thought that track was done after IndyCar left that place.
Yeah, I mean it's faced an uphill battle at times. It's had some promoters come in and out that have damaged its reputation over the course of the past couple of years. But our friends at Track Enterprises have secured a lease there that will allow us to come and compete there. And we are really excited about it. It's a big market for us. Anytime we get to race in Wisconsin is big. Menards based, just over in Eau Claire, a couple hours away. In the Milwaukee Mile is a gorgeous facility. It's got a beautiful, relatively newly renovated grandstand. It's located right there in the heart of the city, access to a lot of people. We have sold a ton of Sprecher root beer at Menards locations. And anybody who buys one of those cases, Casey, gets a free ticket. You redeem for a free ticket to come to the race. So we expect a pretty decent crowd. If the weather holds off the way it looks like it's gonna, we should have a good field. I'm expecting low to mid 20s on car count, maybe as high as 25, 26 cars, which I think would be a great show. It's not only a championship race for the ARCA Menard series, but it's the second to last race for the ARCA Menards Series East. Sammy Smith, Mason Diaz going at it for the championship there. So Mason picked up some points last time out at Iowa. So anything can happen. I think it's a 19-point lead there, but anything can happen going into the finale at Bristol. So we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, we're definitely excited. There's a lot of attention on this race up there. We've got a lot of drivers, making media appearances and doing brewery tours for our friends over at Sprecher. And yeah, it's going to be a big deal. We're looking forward to it.
It's going to be a fun one for sure. There's a lot of names that are going to be in this field. I know you mentioned Sammy Smith, Mason Diaz, Raja Karuth will also be there as well. Wisconsin's own Sam Mayer will be in the race as well. I know there's
who is
the guy that likes
that guy you owe a gift card to.
He's always yeah.
That guy, yeah, you owe him $11, don't you?
Probably. What was the deal that we had last time? How many cars he passed last time or something?
That's what it was. You owe him $1 per car. He passed 14 cars.
Pretty much. Yeah, he did. He did pretty good.
Yeah,
he did pretty good. Of course, the big deal. This is his home state, so he's going to have a lot of fans there. He's actually doing some media stuff there today. So we'll have to see on that. Also, Connor Mozak will be back for Young's Motorsports. Of course, unfortunate luck for him last week at Michigan, but looking to get some stuff. Of course, he's been in the Trans Am and done some late model stuff as well. Nick Sanchez will be back this week. Taylor Gray will be back as well. I think he's in the, better not say that. I think he's in the 46. I'm not too sure.
I think he's in the 17. We'll see. We'll see when the official entry list comes out. Casey, this is why we don't speculate prior to the entry list coming out, because someone's going to be wrong.
Someone is going to be wrong.
Someone might be me, but this is why we don't do it until the entry list comes out.
Correct.
Right. You like to do it no matter what. You want to talk about that entry list before you even see it.
That's also true. What we don't know is that we don't know if Thad's going to be racing or not. We know Taylor Gray will be in the race. That is for sure. We know Jesse Love will be in the race. We know Corey Heim and Ty Gibbs have a pretty good championship battle pretty much going on.
We do. Of course,
Ty won at Michigan. Corey won at Springfield. And I know everyone's like, oh, we like a bunch of winners, but we're in a pretty good championship battle right now.
So I will remind people, Casey, that the ARCA Menards Series had more attention than it ever had in the years when it was Tim Steele versus Frank Kimmel. Just a reminder.
Yeah, and of course, Ty Gibbs is still trying to get that. He's going
to have to win 4 out of the next 5 to tie it, and win all 5 of them to break it. So we'll see.
You got to win all 5 races to break Tim Steele's record.
That record, right?
If Ty knows that, has that been mentioned to Ty?
If he pays attention to this very important motorsports program, he sure does know, because we've talked about it quite a bit, right?
Yeah. Don't forget to save big money at Menards, kids. So,
right.
Yeah. Besides that, I know when you put the schedules together, and when you went, what intrigued you about going back to Milwaukee?
What intrigued me about going back to Milwaukee?
No, what intrigued from the series perspective?
Just a cool racetrack, man. It is a cool racetrack. It's one of the oldest racetracks in the entire country. There's a ton of race fans up there, and it's a place that we need to be. It's a place that I think personally, lots of series need to be there. I realize it's close to Road America, and I'm certainly all for Road America being a part of the schedule going forward. But I think we need to find room for Milwaukee somewhere too, whether it's on our schedule on a more regular basis. IndyCar, I would love it if that Xfinity and Truck Weekend somehow was able to be revived. I'm just a fan of that racetrack. It's a cool joint. It's got a lot of great fans. It's in a great location. Anytime we get back up into Wisconsin, I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah, and knowing Wisconsin, there are some There are some race fans in Wisconsin. They packed Road America. Of course, of course they packed Slinger for the Slinger Nationals and the SRX and SRX. It's racing in Wisconsin. Dave Kallman's probably going to be up there covering the race for the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. I think that's where. Yeah, I think that's mistaken. Well, that's where he works. So of course, whenever Dave's at a motorsports race, it's a big race in Wisconsin. So
Right.
good stuff there. But anyway, this is a big weekend for you guys. Tune in. When's the race on, Charlie? Why don't you do the promo for
I
it?
believe it's 3:00 Eastern time on Sunday, live on MAV TV. If you don't get MAV, you can stream it on Track Pass on NBC Sports Gold.
And Track Pass is only $2.99. $2.99.
$2.99 a month, baby.
Yeah, I have Track Pass.
So cheap, even you can afford it.
Yeah, good enough.
Yeah, my what is the word I'm looking for here? Not cheap, frugal.
Yes.
My frugal fat friend Casey. That's it.
Yes.
Right.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this show. Tune in to Milwaukee, and we'll see you next week when we head back on the dirt for DuQuoin, and Ken Schrader's going to be there. He's going
to run all 3 races that weekend. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it will be. All right. Good to talk to you. Talk to you next week.
You got it, Casey. Thanks, buddy.